All right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with.
My proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
I am not ready.
Hey, I'm not ready either. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Fourth Wall Productions, in collaboration with Taurus Comics, respectfully presents the Foretell Podcast. I am your host, Danny J. Quick. To my left, or to my right, is the Verde Vigilante of Taurus Comics, Kyron Silva. We want to thank you for all your. I don't know the rest of it. That's where I'm done.
That was good though.
I'm done at that point. That's all I got for you.
Because normally by that point you've cut out and you're like not paying attention, right? I'm surprised you actually got that far.
Shoot, off the top of the head too.
Yeah, dude. Oh
yeah.
my god! Wow.
But
hey, we're here. We're here, man. How you been?
I'm all right. You have to at least attempt the rest though. You got to say, the network we're on.
Listen, we're on Agents of Geekdom Network, streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and some other places probably. We are live on TikTok. We love comic books. We are two award-winning blurred creators. There's another part too. If you want to support us,
yes,
you can buy for coffee, and you can check out all the past episodes on foretellspodcast.com.
Okay, yeah, but that's the end.
That's at the end. Yeah, you're right.
Man. Okay. You don't need me anymore, so I'm gonna go sleep.
Obviously, I do, because that was terrible. That was completely terrible.
William Withers in the chat. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
No, I don't. You don't need me anymore. I've trained you well enough. You can do this all on your own.
Hey, I get the training, but I will never do the show on my own. It will never happen, sir.
Yeah, apparently so, because you told me that if I'm not here next week, there's no show.
No show. So. There's no show without Kyron. So
all right.
Just want people to know that.
You're right. There's no show without me, ever.
Yeah, ever. It will not happen. That's why you gave me the controls to the show, and I don't even use the account that you sent it to. I only use this account because I don't have control, because I will be messing stuff up. As our esteemed guest knows, they tried to give me control on the other show that I'm on one time, and it didn't go well. It did not go well. Star Ace Core.
That is a dope name.
I like it. We should do that.
This is the Star Ace Core show.
Yeah, I like it. Good morning. Do you want to talk about what comics we? Well, our guest is a comic book head. So before we talk about the comic books that we've read, I want to bring him on because I'm sure he's read some comic books this week too. I don't even think we need to introduce our guest at this point. I want to say this is his fourth time being on the show with us. Y'all see me weekly with this young man on the Top 5 live show. He is the most opinionated man in comics.
That's right.
He usually has controversial takes also. Javon Stokes, again, welcome to the podcast, sir.
What's up, everybody? This is my third.
Oh.
This is third, I think.
Well, you're always in the comments, so I feel like
I haven't been in the. This is fourth because I was a guest once. This is the second time as a guest, and then I pinch hit like once. I just jumped in because you needed somebody.
This is your fourth. You did 3 times last year with us, and then one of those times was with Michael Watson. So this is your fourth show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you guys seem to love me. So what can I say?
We do.
Danny does love you.
And I finally got to meet you in person, and it wasn't a bad experience. I was thinking that I thought I was gonna have to more separate. I didn't know what to expect, but it was a pretty good weekend, man. How did you enjoy Heroes Con? Like, really, how did you like it?
Honestly, it was probably one of the best shows I did this year. And I've done a lot. So it was definitely fun being around all the creative people, and it was funny because they had all the black people in the back, but that's okay because that was kind of cool.
Wait,
It was
what?
literally like Black Row. It was like Black Row.
We were in the back in the black row, but we requested to be close to each other.
Right.
And I think it just happened that way.
Nah, I'm messing, but
Greg and them, but Greg Anderson and Lisa, like he was way on the other side,
Yeah.
and Daryl Murphy, he was way on the other side. But I actually like it that way. Like I like us all being in an easy place to find. Like you come in, just go straight to the back, and you know where we at.
See, that's what they do. They tell you that you're good together to force you to be in the back. But see, my brothers, we need to expand. We need to go out and push our limits. We cannot.
I mean,
just
not
be
all
held
of them.
back.
The big dogs were still with the rest of the name folks like Jamal Igoe and Sanford Green and all them. They were still
Williams. They were up there where they were supposed to be. But the indies,
the little fish
indies, we were all back there in the back. But it's cool. I love Heroes Con, man. It's one. Yeah. Would you consider? I mean, to me it's a big show, but it's not like it's not New York Comic Con. So would you consider that a big show or a local show?
I would say it's like
based on your experience.
It's a big show, but it's a medium show, and it's only medium because it's like obviously it's in a big venue, but it's only comic book creators and comic books. So the big shows have like the celebrities and all that other stuff. So that's what makes them like big shows. Like and New York Comic Con and San Diego and Dragon Con and Terrificon. They have the celebrities and the comic book creators, and they have other stuff. So that's what kind of makes them bigger. But this was a really big show for comics.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, man. We was just sending people down the line. Like they would start at Row. They would get a Rose book. They would come to my table. They get mine. They'll go to Danny's, and then they would go to Wally's, and then they would go all the way down. It was nice.
Anybody that came up, they was gonna buy something from one of us. They were gonna get something from one of the 4 of our tables, and 8 times out of 10 they did. So
oh yeah.
So y'all would give them the books and then kick them out the door and be like, "Don't come back."
No.
Some of them stayed and talked for quite a while.
Quite a while. Yeah. So we had some that came back multiple times to check up on us. Like we did have some controversial takes. There was one guy who was mad at my NSYNC as an R&B group take. He kept coming by with a drive-bys on me. I was like, man.
Wait. What is your NSYNC R&B take?
Oh, Jesus.
I've never heard of this. What is it?
I think we when we did top 5 R&B groups, NSYNC was in my top 5 R&B groups. I feel like NSYNC.
What number?
They were 3. I want to say they were 3.
So out of every R&B group in existence, this man had NSYNC at number 3.
I think I remember this now. Yeah.
I think to me, everybody says they're pop group. I don't think pop is a genre of music. It's a category that you get placed in once you are past a certain threshold of popularity. But I don't think that pop is a genre. I think that NSYNC, and especially if you consider like TLC a R&B group, then NSYNC is definitely an R&B group. But this is not what this show is about.
No. We're not going back to this because I'm looking at I did remember that, and I'm looking at your list now. You had Temptations at 5, TLC at 4, which that's fine so far, and NSYNC at 3. Then we have the Jackson 5 and Boyz II Men. And I'm totally fine with Boyz II Men number 1 because that's my group. But
if the Jackson 5 is an R&B group, NSYNC is definitely an R&B group. TLC, if TLC and the Jackson 5 are R&B groups, NSYNC is definitely one.
I'm looking at his list right now, and it's like a music Oreo.
Oreo. It's just got a white.
Diddy had to have some representation, but affirmative action is over. We can't do that no more, man.
This was before affirmative action was over.
All
I know.
Matter.
Exactly.
Matter. I can't help y'all on that.
I'm not gonna get into this again. I stayed away during Heroes Con when Morgan got into it with his guy. I stayed away from it then. I was like, nope, I'm not arguing this weekend. I did a very good job of no big debates this weekend.
Yeah, we did. I wish we would have. Me and Morgan kind of we were messed up because he had to end up going back for his son, and I had to go back because it was Father's Day weekend and my children. So we didn't really get to hang out as much as we wanted to. What happened? We didn't get to hang out as much as we wanted to. But
Kevin's comment of Danny used ChatGPT to write his list just got me.
no, I actually had an idea.
Please don't. No.
I actually had an idea that we should do like a live ChatGPT list on the show.
Why?
No,
Like
why?
we should do our lists.
Marvel Secret Invasion or Danny J. Quick here.
And do like a Google, not like a Google search, but like a ChatGPT and say what are the top 5 whatever it is that we do to compare our list to what the AI says. Like I think that would be kind of cool.
You know, Morgan and myself to a degree are anti-AI all the way. So I mean, I would say good luck in suggesting that to Morgan.
I just think it would be kind of cool. I think it would be cool for TikTok.
I want you to suggest that to him on the air on Tuesday. That's what I want you to do.
If I remember, you know, my brain is.
I will remember. I will remember.
Yeah. Remind me, and I'll definitely because I can, pull it up. Bard, they got Microsoft Bard now, where you can do that. Let me go look it up.
Morgan going to shoot his computer. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to pull his gun out and shoot the computer. He's already threatened before. He's already threatened it before.
Like, you only hurt yourself, sir. You hurt. You need that computer. You need that computer. Shoot. But like we were saying, man, welcome to the show. We usually start the show off with talking about which comic books we've been reading lately. All of us are comic book fans.
Let's do it.
So Kyron, Javon, what comic books have you been reading this week?
I personally have been so there's a couple. I tend to go back and read old stuff a lot. But the new stuff I picked up the Tom Taylor's Nightwing, the trade.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Because I'm a Nightwing guy. Big time.
So is this the first trade that we're talking about? Like the first
first Nightwing. Yeah, the first one.
I did the same thing this week.
It's really good.
And the ending with his sister.
Yep. I was like, so I actually read some of the issues in between.
Okay.
So I read some of the individual issues. I try really hard to collect monthly, but I suck at it. So I always be like, all right, I just get the trade. I tried it with Static and I fell off. I tried it with a bunch of things. And then I'm like into the third trade for Philadelphia.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyron? What you reading?
I like you said, I read Nightwing. I got the full trade. I actually got it for Father's Day, and it's the first time I've been able to sit down and read it, and I think it's glorious, honestly, because it gives so much detail into who Nightwing is now, and how he became Nightwing, not just from Batman, but just the Dick Grayson part of things, and just seeing his family and what they did for him. I'm very disappointed in myself that I didn't pick this up sooner and read it sooner, honestly.
I was reading it. I told you I was trying to read it, but it's just hard for me to keep track because like I might not make it to a comic book shop for a week or two in between. So like I'm always forgetting.
Does your comic book shop not give you a pull list?
So years ago, for my other, I used to go to I still go to this comic book shop, but I had like a pull list. I had a pull list and I had a box. And for like a while, my family was kind of going through some financial issues, so I didn't have the money to get it. And there was a stack of books. And ever since that happened, I'm like, I won't do it again, just because like it was like a lot of money, and they were really upset at me.
This is why he had that first Kickstarter at such a high amount. He
was trying to get that pull list.
Yeah, he was like, babe, I gotta get my book, so I'm gonna throw this Kickstarter out here.
I understand now. I absolutely.
That's what you gotta do with these streets, man. That's what you gotta do.
No, I have a pull list at Acme, but it's very small. Like because the shop owner knows me so well, like he knows that I like the first 3 books of a series, especially if they're Black characters. If it's milestone books, he's gonna hold them for me, and then like he knows that I like really niche like Black history comic books, so like when he got the Brother Man comic books in, he held those for me, stuff like that. But he knows that I can't get there as often, so he's not gonna stack them up on me. But
I don't even go through that again. That was
yeah.
I felt like it was a bad look for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a teenager at the time. That's how long ago it was. I was a teenager.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I was
You're
like,
only
never doing this
25,
again.
so that's not really that far away. So
I was only
What'd you
7
say?
years ago.
yeah,
What'd you say?
You only like 25?
Only 7 years.
Sure. Yes. I am only 25.
You ain't got no gray in your beard or nothing.
Not a bit, dude.
That is not true. But thank you.
Well,
This is a terrible. It's a terrible camera.
well, Kenji's
Apparently,
like,
it's a
you
great
can.
camera.
Kenji said in the chat that you can tell him you're not going to buy it, and I've had that thought, but I feel bad for the
Yeah,
comic
that's
shop
what I'm
owner
saying. I feel
because
bad.
they've paid for that already, and we all know they're struggling in themselves. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take this.
I don't feel bad. I tell Jermaine all the time, I'm like, hey, I'll get my list. He'll be like, I got these for you. I'll be like, okay, I want this one. I want this one. No, I don't think I want this one right now. I'll go through them and literally just say, hey, I want these. I don't want these.
But
And
you're talking about things that he's recommending for you, right? Like he
Yeah.
has. See
Oh,
that's different than
that's
saying,
that's different.
hey Jermaine, I want these 5
Yeah.
books every month.
Mm.
Hold them for me.
Right.
That's completely different than.
I can see that.
I do what I do read, and I get every time they drop a trade is Radiant Black. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that book. That's a really good book.
I started Radiant Black the first trade this week actually. That I took my wife to a comic book store. She bought, I don't know if y'all saw my video that I did, but I took her and she actually bought a Static Shock book, not Static, but Static Shock, which is weird to me because she's not a person that knows the difference. She doesn't know that Static Shock is just static.
Right.
She doesn't know him from the comic book. She doesn't know the history of Milestone and all that. So when she saw the Static Shock book, she was like, oh, I know this. I want to pick it up. That's a whole branding thing, even though it's the same character. Just the shock being on the end of it was enough for her to be like, oh, I recognize this. And then she also
I'm absolutely doing that with my wife, by the way. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. I
already told her.
It was a cool experience just to get her to go in there and to talk to Jermaine. Like she knows Jermaine, of course, but she never been in his environment where it's comic books, So to have her talking to the comic books, the shop owners and the people that work there, like I normally do, it's kind of cool.
So this was her very first time ever taking foot in a comic store?
No.
Just actively going to buy it.
She never bought anything for herself before. Like she literally does not read comic books. She is not going.
You didn't buy the book for her? You made her buy it?
Yes, I bought the book.
I
bought the book for her. But they were.
I was like, wait a minute, you drag it to the comic book shop and be like, hey, buy something. Not with my money, your money.
I've bought her comics before, but I wanted to. Like the experiment was, hey,
he's like, this is like a date. We going Dutch.
You don't make your wife go Dutch at the comic book shop, man. Hey, I'm not buying that Static Shock. I got that Static Shock. You buy that Static Shock.
We got Static Shock at home. We don't gotta buy it.
I'm not buying a comic. I make comics. You buy
got that, and she got the reread.
I'm gonna make a Static soon. You gonna buy that?
Static, a shot.
Static Blade.
A shot. But she got that, and she got the reread Williams in the first collection, and she still hasn't sat down and read them yet, but I got them right there on her nightstand for her whenever she gets some time.
Good luck with that.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think happen no time soon, but
hey man, you hear about Pitch for Strong every time, dude. So I understand.
Yeah.
They know because I have my same pitch. I do the same 2 pitches for my comics for every single person. So like
Javon out there like, hey, I got a strong superhero you can buy. It's not static or shocking.
I'm good with my pitches, man. I'm good.
That's
not your pitch.
Oh, the pitch? Well, so the first one I've actually said on Facebook for Heat.
Hold on, I heard it. No, I heard it enough. Let me see.
Go ahead.
Heat is a story of, let me see, a superhero whose power makes him want to burn the world. It's something like that. It's like
it's close.
Heat Give me the real. I know his powers make him want to burn the world part.
Right.
I know that part.
So I usually say he's a story of a young man who gets the ability to control light, heat, and fire. He's trying to be a Superman-like hero, but his powers make him want to burn the world to the ground.
Yeah.
And usually that last bit gets
him. And strong is the day in the life of the strongest superhero
on the planet who just happens to be a 6'2", half black, half Latino woman. And that gets him too.
Yeah. Okay. Those are the two.
Ro was a pro at it, man. Ro was selling my books. Ro was like, oh, I was like,
that, and what you did was it too. Ro
yeah, this is Ro. Hey, you want to try my book, yo? Hey,
Ro is hitting with the
you want to hear about my book?
He's like, so let me tell you about Scarlet Ranger.
Let me tell you about Scarlet Ranger. Would you like to hear about my book, Scarlet Ranger?
Did you do the clap too?
Yes.
Yeah. Every time.
So,
every time. Ranger is
like our voice is still too high. Yo, you want to hear about my book, Scarlet Ranger? Let me tell you about my book.
Out here hustling now. Slinging them books.
It was
especially when it is a woman. He get real. His shoulders get all into it. That's my guy, man. That's my guy,
yeah,
bro.
and I actually got the sneak peek to Scarlet Ranger #2. So there's gonna be dropping soon. I think.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to tell y'all this, but he showed me, so he should know better. The pages are now colored and lettered. The comic book is pretty much done. He just got putting it together and to get it printed. So
okay.
Anybody
shout out to Ro, man. Shout out to Ro Lamb.
You know what else? You know what other comic is almost done? Ballad of the Black Rose.
Yeah,
ink should be done on that by next week.
Y'all ain't been seeing these inks,
ink should be done on that.
See these inks. I tell you another book that's not almost done, but it's close. Heat #3. It's gonna be out by September. Okay. Yeah.
Terrible.
I can tell you what else is almost done. All I Want for Christmas, written by Danny J. Quick and Kyra Silva. Yeah.
What? I didn't even know. I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Last page is gonna be done today.
Okay.
Nice.
I love I'm gonna say it always. I love seeing since I became part of the
indie wait. Afro Avenger issue 12 is done. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, issue 12.
But, I love seeing all of us, putting out projects and stuff. Like it was really a pleasure to see Danny's impact in North Carolina because we make fun of Greg Burnham for being able to really just sit there and people just come to him and then just pick up books. But Danny wasn't that far up, wasn't it? I've seen this before. Let me get that. I've seen this before.
It was definitely cool to have people, say they seen stuff from social media and people that, had already bought stuff being able to be like, oh, book 5 and book 6 is out, whatever. That was definitely cool, man. So
it was rock stars, man.
At all, man. It was so fun. I enjoy comic book conventions, especially when they're comic book focused,
So you enjoyed that big convention?
You said it wasn't a big convention. You said it was a medium.
Actually, that's not what I said. I said it's a big convention for comic books.
For comic books.
So by definition, it's a big convention.
No, you said it was big.
Still pretty big. Still pretty big. That's right, Danny. Yeah, listen, Danny and Morgan, man, they had folks coming to their table, man. I was like one of those fish on the side of a big fish, trying to just try to take. Hey, don't forget to come over here.
Javon is being humble at this. This is the first time in history, but Javon is being humble. He literally was catching people with the art. Every time somebody would walk by and they would give you that, they would do one of these right here. Javon would be like, "Hey,
I get it.
I got you.
I do get
on over here.
I'm like, you don't gotta do the drive-by. Come on." But I said this on the last show. I was like, I have a very specific vocal word cue when I know somebody's not gonna buy my book, and it's, so how long have you been doing this? As soon as they say this, they're not buying the book. They're just kind of like being polite and talking to you. Yeah. Every single time. Listen, next time you do a con, just count how many times somebody says it and don't buy a book.
I get this is my first round. I'll be right back. Yeah. That's the one I know they're not coming back.
That one too.
Well, I mean, those, but like the people who ask you how long you've been doing this, they'll still stand there and look through your stuff and kind of look like they're gonna buy it, but they're not.
They ain't buying. They are not buying.
All right. Well, you got a what is this called? Heatwave? Is that the name
Yes,
of it?
yes.
What
Heatwave.
exactly is Heatwave? I'm gonna show it, but I want you to explain what Heatwave is.
So the Heatwave tour is basically my challenge to myself.
A big
I
challenge, it looks like.
yeah, at the beginning of the year, these are actually not even all the dates in the tour. Like I kind of gave it a name maybe a couple months into it. I decided early in the year I was going to do as many cons, as many events as I possibly can. Like even if it's like one every week in a month, just stacking as any events and as I've been trying to do and getting my name and the books out there, especially Heat, because that's my first comic. Getting Heat out there, getting it more known, expanding it outside of Connecticut. That's kind of what I did, and it's a challenge that I took on. So at the beginning of the year, I just started getting as many tables and as many cons as I can, and then it just kind of took on a life of its own. I would say every month I probably have added a couple of more. Heroes Con wasn't initially on the list, and then it got on it. Contropolis, those got on it. I was able to get tables from them for free. They hooked me up. Springfield Comic Con just got added. Who else just got added? Mice in Boston just got added. So it just keeps growing, and the whole point is to grow and outreach Visually Stoked in my comics and just get it as many hands as possible. I'm kind of I'm setting up next year for this year with this year, trying to get as many cons, just trying to put my name in people's heads. And frankly, it's been a success, even if I'm halfway through it. Okay. Barely. Yeah, well, we're in June. I'm not halfway. Yeah, June is about halfway through.
No, actually, this is July.
I am on my Lil Wayne run. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I got 4 events in July. I've got Contropolis, New Jersey, Springfield Comic Con, Connecticut, and Terrificon. And then in August, I have Fan Expo Boston, Plastic City Comic Con, and Connect and CT Collecticon. So, but yeah, you just gotta hustle. Danny and I always talk about, we and Morgan and I, we always talk about wanting to be invited to cons and giving tables and having travel comp for us. And to me, my best way of doing it is to stay in people's faces. Mm-hmm. And frankly, it's working. Yes. I mean, yeah. Couldn't make it. I couldn't get Dragon Con or New York Comic Con this year, but that's all right.
Or Blurred
I'm gonna get it. Or Blurred Con. Yeah, I'm still sad about that.
I've had. I mean, Blurred Con is one of those shows. I went the 3rd year that they did it, and just as a fan, that's where I went. I met Michael Watson the first time, and Greg Anderson and Lise the first time was there. But they just don't. I just can't get in the. I can't get in the ear.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of the tour, right? Is to let people know I'm out here. And so when next year rolls around, I know a lot of cons, they'll ask you how many cons have you done in their little checklist. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to just be like, I did this.
All of it.
Yeah, all of them.
You were saying that this is setting up for next year. So do you think Heatwave is going to expand? Because I'm noticing, looking at your list, it's very Northeastern based. I mean, you do got like you said, Heroes Con, but a lot of it's Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, things like that. Will we start to see stuff maybe down south or maybe West Coast? Like, what's going on?
Right now I go where I can drive. Heroes Con was different.
Is it really that? Is it really that short to drive in that area? Sorry, I'm just thinking about California is like 8 hours, and you still not through California.
You talking about again, everything is spread out in California. Yeah. So like for you guys, you're used to driving. Oh, I need to go here. Let's go to the store. That's 2 hours away. I don't have to do that. I go,
45 minutes. Yeah.
I don't go 45 minutes away. I go.
Oh,
It's a 10-minute drive to go to my grocery store, but
I
I
mean,
usually go where
from
I can
Maryland
drive.
to Massachusetts to Connecticut, that's all drivable distance for you.
Oh yeah. Maryland is like
Yeah.
5 hours, maybe
Okay.
like
not bad.
Yeah.
5.5. So
It's-
like I did Baltimore last year, so I was like, all right, this isn't a bad drive. But what I usually do is I booked a hotel for one day more, so that I don't leave immediately after the con, because I mean that's rough.
That's a tip we got from the Honorable Daryl Banks over the weekend. He said, that's what he does. He said he doesn't drive out immediately after the show. Stays, hey, next day, then drive out there.
Hey, that trip out of Heroes, I flew in that trip out of Heroes Con
Yeah.
immediately after the con was rough. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never doing that again. I will just stay an extra day. And but I do want to go. I mean, I did Dragon Con before. I like to do it again. I'd like to hit Florida. And
You sure you want to hit Florida? I mean, just
SuperCon was not SuperCon. What was it? Something that's happening this weekend. I wanted to do.
yeah, SuperCon, isn't it?
SuperCon, okay, MegaCon. I wanted to do. So I'm trying to kind of expand through the East Coast, and but at this point, next year I'm gonna probably do a lot of cons that invite me. So if you want to invite me and at least give me, if I can at least get a table, then I can afford the other. I can afford the travel and the hotel. Like this, it's three things. It's got to be one of them's got to be taken out. You either got to pay for my travel and my hotel. I mean, my travel and you either got to pay for my travel, pay for my flight, or pay for my hotel. One or the other. Heroes Con I was able to do because I only had to pay for hotel and
Flight.
my flight. Kevin, my goal is to do a small Comic-Con in Connecticut next year. I have been talking to a lot of people. It won't be huge. It'll be, pretty small. But I'm trying to do that.
That's actually one of my goals here in California, is to do a Black centered convention. There is the one in San Diego that's pretty big, but there's nothing in Northern California or even most of the West Coast. I want to do something in Sarah. He rubbing his hands together. He got an idea.
You should get with that. You should get with that impound guy. He's you and him right there.
He actually throws his own conventions already. He does.
I know,
like 4 of his own conventions every year.
I'm just playing with the guy.
No, but he is definitely on the list of people that I would invite if I can get this together. People want me to draw their books and ink their books, so I just haven't had time. Kyron,
there's actually one. There's one in Connecticut called Diaspora Con. It was a few months ago. It's actually on. I think it's on that list. It was okay. It was like in one room, and it was like a few indie people, but like I had a nice little, they had a nice amount come in. It was on a college campus. But what I want to do is actually I want to do a downtown Hartford, which is, Hartford, capital of Connecticut. I want to do downtown Hartford with a bunch of indie, Black creators. And I've got a couple people who said they have no problem stopping through. Larry Stroman was like, just, holla at me. Greg Elise said, he would show up.
I need to get Larry Stroman on the cover, man.
He is the nicest guy, man.
I'm in BS, and I'm trying to get him, Yuko Smith, and
Yuko's my guy, man. I see him everywhere. Once you start doing, when I realize there's as many cons as I've been doing, I keep running into the same people. I see Keith Williams I've seen him like every month, sometimes twice a month. We keep running into each other over and over again. He's my guy.
That's good, man. That's the best thing. I mean, about like shows is seeing, the people who are consistently out there, and that's how you build relationships and networks, man. I know even if you don't go out to the activities, the extracurricular activities like me, you can still, rub some shoulders if you step away from the table every now and then.
See, that's because you had help. Listen, all right. I want to say
Danny got
something.
Morgan and
Definitely
his
gonna say
kids
something,
and his
though.
family.
Real talk. Believe Morgan. Believe him.
I do.
Danny,
I do.
Danny was never at his table when Morgan was there.
I believe that.
Morgan was doing all of the selling. Danny would be like, "I'll be back," and then he'd be gone
Never see him
for like
again.
45 minutes to an hour.
They
And
exaggerate.
Morgan would be there. He would be hustling.
Y'all
And
are
I was sitting there
exaggerating.
going, "This man."
Y'all are exaggerating, bro.
And then when his son was there, when Morgan wasn't there, and his son was there, then he's like, "I'm gonna go see this panel," and he was gone. He was gone. His son,
DJ's like not even barely a teenager, right?
He's 12.
He didn't know how to use the credit card thing. I had to help him.
He didn't need to do none of that. I
I'm
left
just
him a
saying.
radio. I told him to call me if he needed me.
But
You
you
weren't
could
picking
miss
up.
the sale because you think the customer gonna wait for you to get there.
Yeah, if they want to buy it long enough. But
So,
I knew
yes.
I knew also
Listen,
Javon was
y'all
there.
don't know. I be there by myself for the most part. When I do cons, I'm there
too.
by myself. So I don't really get a chance to walk around and everything.
You don't get a chance to go to the bathroom that often. You got to hold it. You can't eat. I know.
Yeah, so I be there.
When he left the table, he had used the bathroom. I bought the man some food over the
He
weekend.
did. He got me some food.
He bought him food and then he left again.
And
He's
then
like, "Here's your food," and then was gone.
He's like, "Here,
He
eat
did
some food. By the way, watch my table for me."
He did a DoorDash. He just left it right there. He left it on the table. Didn't even stop. Just dropped it and kept going, dude.
Hey, listen,
But
I couldn't go to the extra. I couldn't go to BarCon. I couldn't go to the
That's your
art
fault.
auction. I couldn't do none of that stuff.
That's
so
all your fault.
I had to get my network in while I can, man.
That's all your fault, man. I was at BarCon, man. I was at BarCon. Heavy. I actually met a guy who I guess he works for Baltimore Comic Con. And me and him, we just kind of hit it off. And he was introducing me to the people that was in charge. And I was like, this is what I'm here for.
All right. I don't want to ignore our audience because we do have a couple questions. Michael said, "How's your Comic Cons gone this year?" Michael, he said he's been going great.
Yeah, pretty good. I would say I only had one con that wasn't good, but I'm not gonna say which one because I don't want to burn the bridge. So because they're actually really good to me as in general as like people, but it wasn't the greatest. But I sold some books. So
Paige, what's the topic? This man right here, Javon, is the topic. This is not top 5. We are interviewing Javon here.
Not top 5.
Not close. Behind the scene asked me if have I been to Black Star Collectibles. I have not been.
I've heard of it.
If you go there, you can actually buy my book Ruby from Planet Oz. They are actually selling my books there, so check it out.
How you gonna have your books there and then not go to the shop at least to get some
No,
photos?
I've done that.
It's 7 hours away from me.
Kyron,
I've
you
done
got
that
your own
before.
private jet, man. You want a 1%er. You can get out there and get back.
Have you seen gas
Wow.
prices though?
He called you a 1%er.
Yeah,
I'm like a half.
I don't know why that
actually
came
now.
off like an insult.
Like half.
I'll be a 1%er. Shoot.
like a half percenter.
I'll be a 1%er. Shoot. Easily.
J-Pat said you were skipping over Pittsburgh, and actually, Jay, he did not.
I didn't. I went to Philly. I tried to do Steel City, but I think Steel City. So my wife travels too, so I can't take all the weekends. So she gets some of the weekends. So I think I missed it because she had to travel. So that's why I didn't do it. But I wanted to do Steel City. Anybody coming to Urban Nerd Con? Listen.
Yeah. Actually,
I was trying really hard to come to Urban Nerd Con. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to work things out in a manner that I thought I was going to be able to. So I can't. I'm not going to be able to make it.
If Urban Nerd Con wants to move to the West Coast, I'll come.
Listen, if you are in charge of Urban Nerd Con and you want to take care of my table and at least my hotel, I will absolutely come to her. If all I got to do is pay for a flight, bet I'm there.
I'm not even like that. You take care of my flight because travel costs right now are expensive for airplanes. So.
Hey, listen, I checked. The flight to Atlanta from Connecticut is only like $230. I will pay that and go.
Switch that to California to Atlanta and see how much difference that is.
Nobody told you to go. Nobody told you to live in California.
My family did actually.
No, you can move at any point, man. Any point.
Terrible.
J-Pat said, if I can make it to Dragon Con next year, we can definitely get that drink. This is the
Absolutely.
first year I actually got denied Dragon Con.
Oh man, isn't that the
Crazy.
4 day? Isn't that a big 4 day show?
Listen, Dragon Con was so fun when I got to do it. And it's probably even more fun than the opportunity I had because I couldn't go to any of the extracurriculars because I was on my Danny there. Like my family was there, and I had to go home and I had to take over because Junior was like 1, so I had to like my wife
And he
needed.
wasn't making no sales like DJ does, huh?
Nah.
Not at 1. Yeah, it's hard at 1.
Listen,
Two, he can make a sale, but one,
stepdaughters
no.
were there, but
Yeah.
they are not. They're not. That's not their forte.
Okay.
Yeah. My daughter's the same. Like she can sit there and draw for you, but she ain't talking to nobody.
Yeah.
Stephanie's not talking to
Yep,
anybody.
pretty
Kendra can like manage the payments and stuff like that, but she's not about to sell you nothing. She definitely, they're a little antisocial for kids.
Well, technology and all.
Some people ain't make technology.
will
That's
say-
just his kids.
I will say the AI says that the top 5 indie comics right now are Saga, Paper
Oh my
Girl,
God, seriously.
Monstrous, The Wicked, plus the Wicked and the Divine.
Wicked and the Divine.
I never heard of that one. And then Black
I
Hammer.
heard it's good. I haven't
It is.
read it, but I heard it.
Black Hammer by
Dark Horse.
Danny knows from experience. Trust me.
right.
Black Hammer from Dark Horse.
Terrible.
I do find that I've stopped reading a lot more of the books from the big 2, and I'm reading more indie books. And I feel like it's a byproduct of me working in the indies that I'm willing to do that.
Yeah. I can see that. I find myself when like Paige just said, there's a bunch of people in our groups that are now in previews. I find myself looking for their books when I go to my shop now. So
Oh yeah. Again,
Not from
there are a lot of guys who I've been able to sit next to at cons or sit near at cons, and I am insanely jealous of how little they have to sell their books. I got to sit next to the Greg Elise.
You said his last name like 4 different ways in this
I
show,
know.
dude.
And I say it to him 4 different ways, and I'm waiting for him to correct me, but he don't do it. He just be very Elise. Greg Elise. I've sat next to him, and he does the role too. Though he'll lean into you,
Big old dude.
like, hey, so
He got the
you wanna
shoulders.
read back up? But it's like he'll be big, and then his voice he'll be like, so, and I just. But his concept is so potent that people just walk by it. Oh my God.
Yeah, some people just got. I'm trying to and I had some ideas, but I got shot down by the group for some stuff that would immediately sell comic books. But like some people like Tuskegee Airs, you don't have to you can see it and you don't have to explain it.
Yep.
It's not an aware spider. You don't really have to explain it. There's a bunch of them that are just so impactful. What is it? Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain it. You see it and you're like, oh, I see. I get what that is. I want it. So
I would definitely say Strong has kind of Danny and I were joking at Comic-Con, but Strong has almost become that for me. I'm finding they especially to women, like I get so many women.
Yes, Paige.
I was about to say female, and then I was told not to say that. So many women readers who will walk by and they'll see the cover and they'll be like, "Ooh, what's that?" Or I get a lot of women who've never read comics, and I'll just give them the hook, and then or I tell my story about how I did the book because my wife doesn't read comics, and once I gave it to her, she was just like, "All right, when's the next one?" And then they're like, "Okay," and that usually gets it. But that's definitely close to mine. But the Heat cover that I have with the what is it? The Hamilton quote. This is not a moment, it's a movement. Yeah, that one gets people's attention. The Black Lives Matter kind of pulls people in. And that's one of the things that people who ask me about doing comics. That's one of the things I'll say to them is your cover got to get people's attention. Like it just can't be, unless you're just a phenomenal freaking artist like Marcus Williams. when you're Marcus Williams, your stuff is so good, people just like drawn to it, like you know what I mean? But if not that, then you got to have a cover that catches people's eye. Otherwise, you're just one in a, one in a long line. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, we're all competing against.
Yeah. Well, I think
but
it's time.
We gonna get strong number one. We gonna get strong number one. It's coming. It's coming. I found an artist. I'm working on the script. The goal is for it to be done before the end of the year. So if you liked Zero, you're really gonna like the story I got coming.
I did. So I'm definitely gonna check it out. All right, it's time for quick takes. If you have not seen the show before, quick takes is a rapid fire Q&A session with our guests.
The bad thing was he put that in after you said we're gonna come out strong number one, and then immediately he just put that, and I was like, what?
I can't. I'm just.
All right, so
oh
Javon,
my god!
Oh
god! I'm sorry.
Let's do these quick takes. Quick takes. All right, so Javon, I was joking earlier when I said that the quick takes was going to be top 5 list. I was joking, of course, but
no, he wasn't.
We've had you on here a couple of times, and we I enjoy talking to you about a lot of different things. So we've talked in the past about comic books dying, the death of comic books, and all of that and all of that stuff. So I want to get your opinion in 45 seconds. What is the future of comic books, and how do we help comic books survive?
I think the future of comics is closer to what we're seeing. I think we're going to see a lot less. I think we're going to see a lot more talent in the indie book. I think the indie market will actually be significantly more. It will grow a lot more. And I think we'll kind of see something about like what happened in the 90s. Because if you remember in the 90s, there were a lot of like indie books that had movies and stuff like Tank Girl and The Phantom and stuff like that. Those weren't like the big 2 books. They were getting their opportunities. But I think we'll start to see that. I'm not saying Marvel and DC are going to go away, but I do think a lot more talent is going to funnel towards the indie market.
Yeah, I agree. And behind the scenes, just posted a great comment. The comic book industry is very healthy outside of the superhero genre.
I mean, even the superhero genre is healthy. I think people are again. I've said this on, I don't know if it was top 5 or I said it on a Stoke podcast, but I do think a lot of people are so enamored about what happened in the 90s when people were selling millions of copies and you could become a millionaire just doing comics, and then like, because we're not there anymore, it's like, oh, we're dying. I'm like, oh, we're not dying, dude. Like, you're just not gonna become a millionaire doing this unless you get like a deal or something. Not that you can't sell, $1 million worth of comics. I do, Mason.
Exactly. All right. So question number 2. You and I, we just probably talk sports just as much as we talk comics. All right. It's always, I don't know if it's just because I'm a Lakers fan or if it's because I'm a LeBron fan, but you hate everything that I love about sports. But we agree a lot on comic books. So if you had to give up one for the rest of your life, you can only talk about sports or comics for the rest of your life. Which one would you want to talk about for the rest of your life, and which one would you get rid of and why?
Oh, hell.
That's tough. It's a tough choice.
Well, I probably have to give up sports because I make comics. Can I watch sports? I just can't talk about it.
I can't consume it, can't watch it or discuss it at all. You gotta give it up complete.
Look at his eyes.
Hey, no more Celtics, no more Patriots, no more.
Nah, man, dog.
No more Tom Brady.
I root for Bane. Bane just take out the house. I can't. That's tough, man. I can't do it, man. I can't. That's tough, man. You got me.
That's
me.
a tough one. That's a tough
Yeah.
one. Okay.
Morgan,
All right.
be quiet, man.
Go ahead.
Morgan think he know. Listen, Morgan swear he know about sports. He swear he know about sports. And every time we be in the chat, Greg be checking him. And I be sitting there laughing.
Both of y'all. I mean, Greg be checking all of us.
He don't check me as much as he check y'all.
I mean, I'm new to sports. I'm new to basketball.
Morgan new to sports too. He ain't just started watching sports until he was 20.
Terrible.
Maybe 25.
All right. So question number 3. This is the battle to end all battles for hot-headed superheroes. Tell me, if there was a Heat versus the Human Torch comic, how would Heat come out on top?
Heat can literally absorb all of Johnny Storm's fire. It's over. He puts them out like a light. Puts them out.
Nice and easy. That didn't take long. Okay, question number 4. Question number 4. Now that we have gone to both at Heroes Con, and we disagree if it's a big show or a small show or a medium show. I'm going to ask you this question one more time: big cons or small shows, and why?
Big cons, because I make more money, plus I get to network with a larger group of creators. When you're at a small con, 9 times out of 10, you might meet one established creator, maybe 2. Like if we're talking like the real small shows, because I've done real small shows, and they might have 1 or 2. The rest of it is like indie guys or people crocheting, sweaters and stuff.
Hey, like, what's crocheting? You don't like crocheting?
I'm not against crocheting, but if I'm trying to advance in the industry, I got to get my stuff out to more eyes, and I got to meet more people within the industry. And you can't
want to crochet of Heat? Come on, dude.
I mean, can you do it?
Hell no.
I'll take it.
Nah, I can't.
But again, it's big cons all the time, man. You make the most money, you get the most eyes. Even people who don't buy your stuff see you. So when you go to another con, I've literally had that happen to it. I've had people who saw me at another con. They didn't buy the book then, but then they saw me at this con and they decided to find out, okay, well, let me hear what you got to say. And then they buy it.
I think it's to me, I've had the most impact at smaller shows. Like the people that I actually get to sit and talk to, at smaller shows, because
you can't argue with him. This is not top 5. That's his answer. You can't tell him he's wrong.
I can do what I want to. It's my quick takes. I can do what I want to do.
So Danny, though, but here's the thing though. What is your goal when you're doing a con? Like, what is your goal?
Danny's goal is to go to all the panels and visit all his friends. You don't care about selling?
Impact the network. When I do conventions, I want to impact the people that I see, and I want to network with people on my. That's the difference, because I don't have the. I admire like the celebrity, like Daryl Banks. It's nice meeting them. Brian Stelfree's cool, but I'm more looking for people that I can work with at shows. So.
Okay, but you also have the benefit of having people that you can have at your table while you walk away.
So you need to do an event where it's just you, and see what happens.
So my goal at cons is to sell books and network. I can't sit down and have a conversation with, cross my legs and have a deep, meaningful conversation with every customer that comes by.
I don't know. We just see it.
You can, because Morgan back there doing the work.
Hey, Morgan gonna sell them books. Morgan gonna sell them books.
Morgan back there selling books. You can pull people aside and talk about life and love and all that other stuff.
That's why we're a team.
I'm just saying.
That's why we're a team.
That's why he gonna bring the gun one day, because he's tired of it.
He said, leave this table again.
One more time. You got one more time.
You got one more time.
You get out that seat one more time. Watch.
One more time. You come around the table. Stop standing in front. Come around. You stand behind the table like everybody else.
Hey, terrible. Nah,
Danny gonna start going like this.
That's one thing we don't do.
Morgan gonna be like, "What?
Where you think you going?
Where you going?"
No, you can't go to a panel.
Question number 5. You are a historian of comic books. You are a fan of comic books and comic book events. So I want to know what are your top 5, and especially with Secret Invasion being on Disney Plus right now. I want to know
With their
what do you
stupid AI
consider
intro.
the top 5? Yes, with the stupid
I
AI.
skip that. I have to skip that every time now. That's
It
just,
doesn't bother me. It
It
doesn't
don't
bother
bother
me.
me
We
either,
know what's gonna
that
happen.
bothers me.
What are the top 5 comic book events?
I mean, Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, in no particular order: Infinity Gauntlet, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm.
My favorite or top 5?
Top 5, the best, the most impactful ones. You got 2 of them already.
House of M was pretty impactful.
Okay, I can see that.
If I'm keeping it a buck, Extinction Agenda was very impactful because that was like the first. This was the first real crossover with the X-Men. Like they did.
That was the biggest crossover they had.
Yeah, that was
in
like the
90s.
biggest to that date. That's 4, right?
That's 4.
Yeah.
1 more.
5. Shit.
You missed a big one, dude. You missed a huge event, especially X-Men related.
I'm putting World War Hulk on my list. That would be my
damn. 5th one. I'm looking over at my books.
You missed a huge one, X-Men related.
House of M. Which one?
I am stuck on the 5th one because it could be a lot. It could be a lot. I mean, 0 Hour is very impactful. Like, if I'm being honest, if we're talking about impactful,
I don't know if 0 Hour was that impactful because they retconned it with Flashpoint.
Yeah, but that was like it was like a decade later. It's like 10, 15 years later.
There's no lasting. Come on.
Mutant Massacre was first.
Yeah.
But the Extinction Agenda was bigger. It was absolutely bigger than the Mutant Massacre.
How are we not going to say
Wars?
Secret Wars is there? But how are you not going to say Dark Phoenix Saga?
But that wasn't a crossover though.
No, he just said comic book event. It didn't have to be crossover.
Oh, my bad. I was thinking of events. I mean, like crossover.
Oh,
that's. I mean, I would have had a different list. My bad.
That was still a good list, though. That was still a good list.
The only reason, I mean, like Secret Wars, yeah.
Secret Wars is definitely good, but the Death
even Dark Phoenix. If we're just talking like events,
yeah.
I mean, I would put like
Death of Superman.
No, I will put the Man of Steel miniseries event before I put Death of Superman. Man of Steel wiped out the entire Golden Age.
Yeah.
All that Golden Age stuff, Superboy, all that other stuff.
Yep.
And then,
that's basically his Flashpoint in a way.
Right. It was like the Superman that we've had for like the last some odd years.
Like 30?
Yeah, it's been the Man of Steel version of Superman. Not Zack Snyder. Right? The trash movie. No.
Terrible. I'm looking forward to. How do y'all? Before we go, I know we right up against the time. How do y'all feel about Secret Invasion so far? Have y'all been watching it?
I love it. Outside the intro, it's phenomenal, dude.
Honestly, it didn't even cross my mind with the intro. The first time I saw it, I was like, "This is ugly," but I don't really care. I mean, it's just like I don't really care. Like, but
that first scene where we find out. I mean, I don't want to do spoilers, but we find out who's a Skrull. That makes you go back and rethink almost everything for the past 10 years of, well, damn, how long we've really been dealing with this.
Right.
Yeah. Terrible. Yeah. I think the first two, acting wise, it's just been great. There's been just enough action. It hasn't been, there's not a lot of action in it, but it's just enough. And then I think they got some twists coming. I think either Rhodey or Maria Hill.
The funny part about that show is it proves that people don't know what they want. Because for years, people have been complaining that the MCU is the same, everything, the same.
Yep.
And then this last phase has been Marvel trying different stuff. And everybody's like, it's not the same as...
It's not Infinity. It's not Endgame.
It's not connected at all. I don't like this.
Every single time. So it's like that tells me y'all don't know what you want, and you don't really care about like the story. You care about what's it leading to.
Yeah.
So
the big payoff at the end.
Right. You're waiting for the big end game, instead of enjoying the journey like we did last time. The first that was one of the big selling points of the first one. You enjoyed the journey. You enjoyed each movie as we went, but y'all
I mean, I think
impatient.
we got some of that coming up now that Kang, now that it seems like Kang is still going to be okay.
Okay. I like you said, we're out of time almost, but how come we didn't hear the uproar about everything that happened now? Now that it's been proven he did nothing, there's been no uproar about that.
I'm still waiting. I want to hear it like full on exonerated.
She got arrested for her
that's
action.
fine. That's fair. But I'm gonna wait.
There's some other stuff that came out too, but we don't got time for it. It was good. It's always good talking to you, Javon, Kyron. You the man. I appreciate y'all.
Why he acting like he about to bounce?
I know this is the last episode.
My last
episode. Are you going solo? Is that what's
podcast? I want to announce my new podcast. Just 4 podcasts.
Just 4.
The 4 podcasts. No tells.
You going solo? All right, man. He just signing off right now, man.
Oh, I guess so.
Go ahead, Kyron. You do it. You do the outro.
All right, Javon. Thank you for being on the show. We appreciate you now taking the mantle from Michael Watson as a sole leader of the amount of time being on our show with 4. So thank you.
I'm gonna get one
but
more.
we want to make sure you won't get to 5 and be John Cena and be like,
get
we
that,
can't see you no more.
Infinity Gauntlet.
But we want to make sure everybody picks out your books. So where can everybody check out your books, your social media, things like that?
All right. You can check me out at visuallystoke.com. That's where you can buy my books. You can find me at Visually Stoked Media on Facebook, as well as on Instagram, and then visually_stoked on Twitter. You can find me on there. I try to do TikTok. I'll be there every now and again. Not as great at it, but yeah. And then you can see me at any one of the many cons that I'm going to be doing over the next few months. Come by, say hi. I'll be at Contropolis, New Jersey next week, next weekend, and then the weekend after that, I'll be at Springfield Comic-Con.
Danny, where can people check you out?
Y'all know me. It's your boy Danny J. Quick. The best place to find me is our website, fourthwallpros.com, where you can find all of our comic books, short films, and everything. And then if you want to find me on social media, it's at the Ace Blade. Kyron, where can people find you?
You can find me online, Ignoring Morgan, at tauruscomics.com.
We all do.
I'm also on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Taurus Comics. And if this is your first time checking out our podcast, you can go back to our website, fourtailspodcast.com, listen to our previous 79 episodes. Danny, you forgot to mention this is episode 80.
So I did.
Oh yeah, Top 5 Live, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Come by and see us.
Hey, go ahead. No,
Top 5 Live and the Stoke podcast every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come see us. Morgan will be there. We ignore him from time
Between
to time.
these 2 shows, I almost have 200 shows that started about the same time. So we're getting there.
I don't know. You made this all about you. Okay.
It's always all about him. But the next 2 weeks, Danny and I will not be here. Danny's got a bunch of events and stuff going on. He said he can't join it. And I was like, all right, well, if you're not going to be here, Danny, I'm not going to do the show because I can't do this without it.
I offered to be to replace Danny, and you rebuked me. So
Kyron is not so true. Kyron is going to be gone for the next 2 weeks.
I tried to step in. I did. I tried to be.
All right, fine. All right, fine. I'll be honest. I am not able to make the next 2 weeks, but I did offer Danny. I said, "Hey, Danny, can you take over a show?" And Danny literally said, "Kyron, if you're not here, there is no show." And I was like, "But you could do it." No. He's like, "No, if you were not here, there is no show." So we're not going to have shows for the next 2 weeks.
You're the guy behind the table, Kyron. In this position, you are the guy behind the table.
I guess so. So next 2 weeks, we not have a show. But join us back here. What is that going to be? July the 22nd. Yes, where we are going to have the Afro Avenger himself, Kevin Chapman, on the show. Apparently talk about Afro Avenger number 12. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore, honestly. But until next time, sayonara, goodbye, and everybody, please take care of yourselves. I really just want to see how many gang signs y'all can throw up and be
I don't know how to do anymore. That's all I got. All I got is this. That's all I got.
I'm done.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.